Hey y'all, it's your girl Gemini Jazz with House of Chiron, and we are back with another episode of Galactic Gossip. So we are in a new year. It is 2023. So welcome to the new calendar year. And I hope that you all had a wonderful New Year's Eve and all of those wonderful things. I hope 2022 was not too harsh on us because I know it came with a lot. It came with a lot of punches. I will definitely say that. But 2023 means that there's a new year with new energy, new lessons, new opportunities for growth and expansion. So let's just dive right on into it. All right. So before we actually get into all of that, just want to introduce myself. I am Gemini Jazz. You know, my government name is Jasmine Wilson. I am the owner and founder of House of Chiron Astrology, Reiki, and Mental Wellness. I can't speak because Mercury is retrograde, y'all. Um, so, with that being said, you know, I am that one stop shop for all of your healing tools and needs and your astrological insight. You can find that here with me on my website, here on this channel. Make sure that if you are new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you will not miss a beat. And if you are returning, welcome back and Happy New Year and all those good things. All right. So, now, 2023 is here. Like I said, new calendar year has begun, and that comes to new, you know, energy, new transits, things that we need to navigate. And this year ahead, we're going to have some major planetary shifts that's going to continue to like push us and propel us into a new paradigm. And so this month kicks off an intense like rebirth between our passions and our values, and then you know, with what it is that we desire and want to be able to receive. Because on the first day of January, we have Pluto and Venus, and you know, making their aspect also. Okay, so then Venus is going to like take the lead this month and make a few changes two times, right? She's changing from Capricorn to Aquarius and then from Aquarius to Pisces just in this one month. So taking the lead on her shifts and whatnot. And so we're going to be exploring love in a practical way, right? While Venus is in Capricorn, and then we're going to be moving towards a eccentric way of expressing our love and our values. And then it goes into its highest expression into Pisces, all within 31 days. Yay. All right. So now, with that said, before we get into this month's energy, I have a few announcements and updates for everyone. So, astrology readings are now closed. So, we are not doing any astrology readings at House of Chiron, no personal readings. The only place that you can get readings is within the Celestial City membership. And so that's only offered to my members of the membership. And so it's a subscription based membership where we meet twice a month, one for a Reiki release kind of meeting and session. And then also we meet for our new moon intention setting ceremony. And, you know, also we have like a chat form that we discuss things and ask questions and insight where you can also just kind of reach me through text and whatnot. And then we have different products and tools that they get hold of first before I release them to the public at all. And then sometimes they just get things that no one else gets. So if you're looking for a group or a community of like-minded individuals, just come on over to Celestial City. And in those new moon meetings, I basically give everybody like a reading for what they are. It's like having a lunar return reading during that time. So there you have it. Also, the Reiki appointments are open for booking, and they will soon be moving to a new way of expression. So I will be making the Reiki appointments at the end of January. They will be on a subscription base. So yes, you can buy your individual Reiki appointments, but also they will be shifting at the end of the month into a subscription-based service. So you can get as many Reiki appointments as you need per month for a certain amount, certain price, and whatnot. So I'm working on that behind the scenes, and that will become available at the end of this month. So keep watch of that. And as always, the Celestial City is open. So I already told you all about that. Now, also about Galactic Gossip and about my, you know, how I show up here on YouTube. It once was where I used to do Galactic Gossip every week. And then it went to me doing Galactic Gossip bi-weekly. And then it went to me doing galactic gossip once a month. So now I'm going back to bi-weekly because it's a lot of information for the entire month. And I feel like with 2023, there's going to be lots of things coming up. So it's going to go back to bi-weekly where I wrap up the first 2 weeks of the month in galactic gossip. And we talk about the major transits for those first 2 weeks. And then we'll do another galactic gossip for the last 2 weeks of the month. And it'll be like this, every month until we kind of get a flow. I start school for my master's program on the 17th. So my schedule and my time is going to be different. I will say that. And as most of you know, I am a mother of 4. And I have a senior that's graduating this year. So this year is about to be crazy for me. Okay. So I'm going to have to shift a lot of my schedule and how I offer things to you all. So just bear with me. And I appreciate y'all for being patient and bearing with me as I figure out my natural flow and still being able to do everything that I enjoy and love. Okay. Also, galactic gossip is going to be looking different. I'm going to be sharing the transits with you all so you can actually see what's going on in the astral realm of things. And hopefully that will help you all see what I'm seeing. And also maybe you'll be able to learn a little bit more. There are a lot of changes coming with House of Chiron in 2023, lots of offerings that will be coming out. And then last but not least, I decided that it is not conducive to my energy and my flow to do the 2023 year ahead reading. So I just completely declined on doing that. I normally offer the year ahead readings for everyone, and you can get like all of your energy for all of the year ahead. But with everything that's been going on in my life and with me starting school, it would just be too much on my plate. And so I always promote a soft life that is about ease and flow and pleasure. And by me doing that, will just completely take the fun and the joy out of giving you all what I like to do, which is the astrology. So it felt more like a chore than it did something as like an offering that I would love to give you all. So I decided not to do it. But I will be sending out and making them for sale the monthly readings. Those will still be out. Okay. So January will be coming out in the first week of the month. So you can look for that. And then I will be, updating them. And then maybe I'll just be putting the month readings out earlier because I will have to fix my schedule and work around it. Okay. So I think that's all the announcements that I have for this month or for these 2 weeks. So we're going to be covering the energy for January 1st all the way through January the 15th, and then we'll wrap up January the 15th until the end of the month on the next reading. So hopefully that will give y'all some insight and help you to digest what's going on a little bit more, with more ease, because it's a lot of information. I will still be giving the readings based on the information that we have by sign, and that will be done at the end of the reading of the end of this video. So make sure you are watching the first part. All right. So the intro is this, and I do the announcements, and then I'm going to get into the overall energy for the month. And then after the overall energy, I will then go sign by sign. So make sure that you are watching the first part so you can get kind of like the context of what this month is going to be bringing. And then it'll kind of give you a basis or a foundation of what's happening to you by your sun, moon, and rising. Also, when you start watching for your sun, moon, and rising, make sure you are watching for all 3. Okay, your rising and or your ascendant, they're the same thing. They're going to be primary because it maps out the trajectory, right? It tells you what house placement that this is, whatever the energy is going to be affecting. So that tells you what area of life is going to be affecting the most. And then your sun is secondary because that's your focus and that's your goals for the energy. And then last but not least will be your moon sign. It's subjective. It's more about your internal world. It's about your emotional response to outside stimuli. And then also it can represent your home and family life as well. Okay, so that is what I have. So let's get into January 2023 intuitive forecast, galactic gossip. Okay, so like I was previously talking about, we have our lunar cycle that happens this month is going to be Cancer full moon, and then we're going to have an Aquarius new moon. So the Cancer full moon just so happens to occur at the Cancer degree of 16. And so we're going to be cultivating more of that Cancer energy, and we're going to be continuing that trend of our new moons happening at 1 degrees. I believe that began in November of 2022. And so from November of 2022 until March of 2023, all of our new moons are going to be at 1 degree. And so this is like an indication that there's a radical new beginning, a new path, a new journey that we are setting on. It's kind of setting the tone for the year ahead. And also with this, month starting off at 1 degree and the sign of Aquarius and being a new moon, it's setting a tone of rebellion and liberation from anything that's outdated, anything that's oppressive, any foundations or any mindsets or conditioned beliefs needing to be rooted up that has been providing like a lot of restrictions and blockages. That's what this is creating for us with this new moon, setting new intentions to break free. Okay, now additionally, talking about like this is the new year, adding a little new year spiked punch, right? Mars is finally going to be stationing direct after being retrograde since October. That happens in the second part of the month, so I'll talk more about that at that time on the second galactic gossip. But I don't know about y'all, but I know that I'm just about done with Mars doing the absolute most, right? So I have a Gemini stellium, right? My sun, Chiron, and Mercury is all there. So Mars has been doing the most in my second house, and I'm just over it. But it's been some great things. It's been some great things. I will say that. But now we can actually like allow Mars to have its way through the remaining portion of Gemini, right? So while it's been retrograde, we've been reevaluating what we put our energy in and our focus and whatnot. And so now that it's moving forward, some things have been eliminated, some things have been taken away. And we're embarking on securing and protecting our homes, our families, our roots, our traditions, and whatnot, especially when it leaves Gemini and it enters into Cancer. Okay, so that happens, in March, but that's where we're going to be heading next. So this year also, moving forward, Lilith will enter into Leo. That happens. Mercury will station direct at the end of this month in the sign of Capricorn. It went from 24 degrees retrograde all the way back to 8 degrees. And then Aquarius season will begin on the 21st, I believe. Or no, it's the 19th of this month, I believe. And then Uranus will begin to move forward because it stations direct also. So this month is going to be wild and outrageous, but also all the planets will be direct as of this month. Okay. I am excited. I don't know about y'all. So with that said, let's talk about this full moon that we have in the sign of Cancer. Okay. I'm going to share my screen so you all can see what has been going on, what's been popping over here. All right. So this is the chart for this here energy for the full moon in Cancer. So it happens on January 6th of 2023. It's 16 degrees Cancer. And this happens around 5:07 p.m. Central Standard Time because y'all know I'm in Texas, right? So there you go. Now, this full moon, as you can see, the moon is here at 16 degrees. And it's going to be making that opposition to the sun that's in Capricorn, also at 16 degrees. And so that's what the full moon is about. Now, this moon is also going to be making a sextile to Uranus. So this has a lot to do with us feeling it's like a radical shift, a change of freedom when it comes to the emotional restrictions and the things that we've been desiring and the things that make us feel comfortable. Uranus is still making that square to Saturn a little bit, right? So it's still squaring Saturn, just it's a very loose square, I will say that. But with it being there for all this time over the last 2 years or so, we've been forced to change in many ways. And that change has not always felt great, right? It's changing the core values. It's changing how we value certain things, right? The disruption of the food industry and our values and our financial structure and all those things is forcing us to change how we show up collectively and also individually, wherever Uranus is in Taurus in your chart. That's where the change and the oppression or the force to change has been happening, right? Wherever Saturn is in your chart, also in Aquarius. So that's also where it's showing the change has been forced upon us. And it hasn't felt good most times, right? So we've been restricted. We've been feeling like we are being surveillanced, even blocked from being and doing as we please. And this moon is going to be providing us with an emotionally healing energy to move beyond the harshness of the last couple of years. So we're really embarking on brand new times, right? So the full moon is always a time for releasing. It's a time to let things go. It's cultivating, and it's coming to like this culminating point of, what's happening, what has happened over the last 6 months. So if we think back to the intentions that we set under the Cancer new moon that happened during Cancer season, and we see kind of like the progress and what is actually cultivated during that time, like the culmination of it. We planted the seed, and now what has grown from that seed that was planted over, this past summer of 2022, right? So that's kind of like the energy that we're really embarking on with this full moon. It's an emotional release. We can expect a liberating change in our emotional space, how we respond to things. There might be some shifts and some changes that happen in regards to our stability, our home and families, our sense of security and safety, what makes us comfortable. And also, just for some, there might be, issues with like influential women in your life, and you might find some type of freedom or some understanding, right? Because of that sextile to Uranus. Uranus is that divine godlike knowledge. And with that sextile to the moon, it's like going to be really amplifying our sensitivities, because Uranus is very, what is the word? Electric, right? So it also is going to stimulate our senses even more, because that moon is our gut response. So pay attention to the synchronicities, pay attention to the things that are coming up and how you feel and how you emotionally respond and react to those things. Pay attention to that gut response, especially with that Uranus energy being there. Uranus also rules our nervous system as well. So, we might have some visions. We might, feel that we are more in tune on, sensitive kind of levels. Just our senses might be really heightened at this time. Okay. So work on releasing anything that has been holding you back, whether it is things that, disrupt your sense of comfort. Also work on stepping out of your comfort zone, because that's kind of the theme, right? Getting out of your comfort zone. And because, it's really hard to grow when you're comfortable. You have to kind of get into those spaces and those situations that bring you discomfort in order for us to grow out of it or grow from those situations. We have to be challenged a little bit. Okay. All right. So then we have Lilith entering into Leo, and this is going to happen on January 8th of 2023. And so it's going to be in the sign of Leo until October 3rd of 2023. So almost the entire year, right? And it first moves into the sign of Leo at 7:42 a.m. Central Standard Time. Okay. So with Lilith being in Cancer this entire time, has been showing us how to rebel against, certain things that's within our homes, right? So it's coming to terms with who you are at home on a more secure level, especially like if you are a mom within your mothering. That's what Lilith does. Lilith helps us to face our shadow side and embrace it with peace and acceptance, and that radical acceptance, right? Because it's all that rebellious energy. And so with it moving into the sign of Leo, it's really coming to terms with who you are. Because the sun is the ruler of Leo, and it's about your ego. It's about your personality. It's your life force. It's who it is that you are. Okay. And so with Lilith moving into Leo, it's going to be here. See, Lilith is here. It's going to be moving into Leo at the same time that the moon is in Leo. So feeling really connected and comfortable with taking into account who it is that we are, not only intellectualizing who it is that we are, but on an emotional space internally, who are we, and being comfortable with who it is that we are. Okay. And so it's going to help us, like I said, face those shadows to embrace our true identity, right? Because that sun energy that's that rules Leo, it's a lot to do with embracing yourself, your identity, your self-expression, your creative self-expression, that inner child, right? Is that the natural person that whoever it is that you are, right? Before all of the things got placed on you that who you should be. So it's more so like an excavation that's going to be happening with this Lilith in Leo's, like getting down to the root of who it is that you are. We did that with Lilith in Cancer, but now it's like, okay, now that we've gotten down to the root of the thing, now let's see what's beneath the surface, who it is that you are, what it is that you want to do, right? So if we've been having any issues with confidence or self-acceptance or any of those things, this transit is going to help us come to terms with all of that. And like I said, it's going to be in a close conjunction. It's a 5-degree orb with the moon that's also in Leo at this time. And so it's kind of setting the tone for this entire transit. It's like radical self-acceptance. That's the key term for Lilith in the sign of Leo. Okay. Now, Mars is going, not Mars. Yeah, Mars. I said Mars. So Mars is going to station direct at 8 degrees Gemini. And this happens on January 12th. Okay, so it stations direct at 2:56 p.m. Central Standard Time. And so Mars has been retrograde since October 30th of 2022. And like I said before in the intro, that we've been really focused on where we have been putting our energy in, where we've been putting too much focus and energy and things that just deplete us, and burnout has been a major theme, right? So what is it that we're focusing on too much? Are we putting too much energy into certain things and it's burning us out? So Mars has the ability to separate and eliminate, cut things out, right? It rules knives. So it's like you need to protect your energy. That's the key term for Mars retrograde, protecting your energy, scaling back, not putting so much effort and force into something by trying to make a thing a real thing. Okay, so if it's not meant to work, it's not going to work. Now, Mars is going to, at this time, still, let's see, do a couple of hours. There you go. So Mars is going to be stationing direct at 8 degrees. So at 8 is all about secrets, and it's that number that's ruled by Scorpio. So it's the ruling number of Mars, right? Because Mars also rules Scorpio. So with that being said, it's like getting down to the nitty gritty, like exposing some things, right? So now that we have been in retrograde and we have recognized where we've been doing the absolute most, now with Mars moving forward, we're going to be exposing it and saying, hey, I've eliminated these things. Now I can initiate something, right? So Mars also rules our inspiration. It rules confidence, our motivation, right? And so we haven't been feeling motivated. We've been feeling kind of lackluster, so to speak. And as it moves forward, our motivation, confidence, inspiration, all those Mars ruled themes are going to be increasing moving forward over this time, right? Mars is also the planet of action. So we're going to be able to take action on those things that we've been reviewing and revising and removing and, worrying about letting go. We're going to actively be able to progress and move forward. Okay. We can also begin to see those ideas and those plans that we were creating during this retrograde phase come more concrete during the Mars direct cycle. Okay. So shortly after this, Mars is going to move into the sign of Cancer. And so there's going to be a whole nother ball game. I'll be having a Mars return at that time. So that's going to be a completely different thing. But right now, what we're doing is really moving forward with taking action on the things that we truly desire, that we want to put energy and focus in because they light us up. They inspire us to do more. That it's motivating us, it's adding to us and not taking away from us. Now, how we desire to spend our time, our energy, and our focus has gone under major review and surveillance during Mars, retrograde, because if you think about it, it's very surgical, right? Because Mars rules knives, it rules separation. So we've been really like surgically reviewing certain things in our life that has been basically depleting us, right? And so going under that microscope and surgically removing things carefully, and doing so in a way that's going to add to our expression, add to our confidence as we move forward, right? We'll be able to make those adjustments accordingly with this forward movement. And there's going to be a completely different dynamic. Okay. All right. So, like I said, Mars will be direct in the sign of Gemini until March the 25th, and then it will enter into Cancer. All right. So, those are the transits for this first part of the month. This is just the first 2 weeks of January. So, now we are going to get into the readings for all 12 signs. And as I stated before, make sure you're watching for all three. And sun, moon, and rising. Your ascendant and or rising is first and primary. Your sun is secondary, and your moon is last but not least. Okay. Now also, there was another thing I was going to say. I can't remember. But either way, make sure you're watching for all three. And so we're going to get started with the readings for all 12 signs. Okay, so for Aries, sun, moon, and rising, we're going to first start off talking about the full moon that happens at 16 degrees Cancer on January 6th. This is happening in your fourth house. So with the full moon in your fourth house, there's a culmination of your home and family, your living situations, maybe even situations going on with influential women, the matriarchs in your family, in your life. There could be just a culminating point that's come at this time. Maybe you're releasing something. You also could be releasing your actual environment, your home, letting it go, moving to a new location. Has a lot to do with maybe your traditions and like your heritage also. That's fourth house energy. And with the moon being there and it's at home in Cancer and it's in the fourth house, you know, it's really adding a bit of more of that Cancerian influence, right? Especially with, you know, it being at 16 degrees, right? So it's the degree of Cancer. And so the moon is the ruler of your fourth house. So like I said, it's at home. It's good. It feels good when it's in the sign of Cancer, and it's making that sextile to Uranus. So you're being liberated from something, right? You're being liberated. You're being released from something. And that's where it's coming from, right? So in your case, where you have Uranus in Taurus, it is going to be in your second house. So maybe your finances, it could have a lot to do with, you know, your values, your possessions. So maybe you could be releasing or letting go an actual home. Maybe you're selling it, or you just, you know, closed on a home or something along those lines. Also, you might be looking to remodel, or you've just met, you've gotten to this point of a sense of security within who it is that you are, right? Because the moon also is our sense of safety, our security. So that could also be something that's occurring. Now, Lilith is entering into Leo. So like I was saying before, Lilith is going to help us face the truth about who it is that we are, facing ourselves head on, and really embracing that. And so this is moving into your fifth house. So even more so, right? Lilith going into your fifth house. It's about your romantic partnerships, your sense of, you know, identity when it comes to the things that bring you joy, and your hobbies, getting back into your creative projects, and rebelling in a sense of being able to tap into the joy and the fun of life, and not taking things so serious, but also moving in a more autonomous way and staying connected to your joy by remaining autonomous, remaining who it is that you are, regardless of the titles that you have that has been placed upon you. Okay, so then we have Mars stationing direct at 8 degrees Gemini, and this is in your third house. So Mars and Gemini. Mars is the ruler of your first and your eighth house. So Mars is your chart ruler. Okay. So with it ruling your first house is something that you are initiating. So you've been really reviewing your work, your daily routines and things of that nature, but preferably like your cars, your vehicles, your transportation, your communication, how you perceive things, how you relate to your environment. So you might have been separated from your environment, separated from your siblings, possibly, and there might have been some things that you're reviewing in regards to those areas, in those third house areas, and what, you know, how much energy you have been putting into these things. Okay. And so maybe a small business could be something, or your car, you've been putting a lot of energy into your vehicle, or maybe in a skill or a trade or obtaining a certification. And so you've been reviewing that. And now that Mars is stationing to move forward, also keep in mind that Mars is the ruler of Scorpio. So it rules your eighth house, which is your resources, your joint finances, the money that you get from other people. It's your partner's money. It's also secret. So there could be some secrets that, about money, about, debts and things like that, that you've been really reviewing and trying to get a handle on. And now you're going to like push forward and have a set plan or an idea of how to tackle it. Also, maybe you've been looking to figure out how you can make different streams of income, different opportunities being presented to you during the retrograde period. And so now you've kind of narrowed it down and what you decide to do and what route you're deciding to take. And so you'll be able to move forward with that as Mars moves forward in the sign of Gemini. All right. So moving on to Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. The full moon in Cancer is happening in your third house. So there's a culmination that is happening in regards to your communication, your immediate environment, your vehicles, small business, any type of information or technology, right? So it could be like your phones, computers, things like that. So you could be getting a new computer. You could be letting go certain aspects of work that you do within your small business, or you could be coming to the end of something, or like a payout of some type of educational pursuit that you have been embarking on. The moon rules Cancer, and Cancer occupies your third house. So with it being in your third house, it's like, relating to your siblings, to your environment. And the third house also represents that, and it has a lot to do with the matriarchal. So it could be like your siblings on your mother's side, or you could have come to this culmination of release, right? And it's also like a payout kind of thing, about seeds that were planted back in the Cancer season, right? So the summertime, it could be for your business, it could be for a car, right? So maybe you were saving up money, or you were looking for other streams of income, or you were getting a certification, or you're in school for something. And now it's like you're coming to the end of that cycle. There's like a payout that's happening at this time. Okay, now we also have Lilith entering into Leo, and this is in your fourth house. So this is going to help you really face yourself and embrace who it is that you are in a confident and secure way about your home and family life, right? Your sense of security and who you are, that feminine energy that we all possess. And then, maybe even if you're a mother, so really embracing those aspects. Also, this could have a lot to do with, rebelling against certain matriarchal views of things, right? So what you're supposed to do as a feminine energy or something like that. So it could also have you just really finding yourself being empowered in the home. Your power, your sense of influence is going to be kind of heightening during this time from January 8th to October 3rd, and just really gaining that sense of confidence in your status, your title, your role within your home, within your family as well, within the heritage, your traditions, your lineage. Okay. And then you have Mars stationing direct Taurus in your second house. So within moving forward in your second house, you're going to be able to move forward on different streams of income and how you make money for yourself, certain possessions that you've had to part ways with and let go, maybe even certain relationships that you've had to let go and release. Certain streams of income are being released. You've thought about it, you put too much energy into certain things, and so now you can move forward with, hey, you know what, this got to go. I can't longer put much energy into this because it's taken away from these things. So this could be the culmination of that, where you're moving forward into a new direction with Mars moving direct, because you've been really thinking about the ideas, you've been thinking about the plans and the opportunities that you have. And so you could have also been, looking at different ways to make money, and now you have a solid plan and idea on how you're going to do that. And once it moves forward, you'll be able to implement those things in real time. Now, Mars is the ruler of your 12th house. So the 12th house dissolves things. It's about endings. It's also the ruler of your 7th house, which is Scorpio. So it's about your commitment. So it's about literally dissolving certain commitments that are taking too much of your energy, And it could be commitments to people, it could be commitments to, work environments, just different things that you could be possibly committed to that are taking too much of your energy, your time, and your attention. And it's not necessarily giving you a return on your investment, so to speak. So kind of letting those things go, you're going to come to like a complete stop and then move forward in the direction that you desire to go into. Okay, so Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. The full moon in Cancer is happening in your second house. So this is the house that rules your possessions, your money, the money that you make for yourself. This is also, things that bring you pleasure. So it's like beauty and art and, all those things. So with the full moon being in Cancer, there's this culmination that's happening with how you've been making money for yourself. So there's like, it's coming to this phase of ending. There's time for a release. The moon rules your second house. So with the full moon being in its ruling space in your chart, it's really just kind of giving you an idea of being more secure in how you make money for yourself, how you go about with your material possessions, also how you show up within your relationships and your other type of commitments, and feeling secure within these things. So you could see like a payout, you could see something being let go of at this time, and you can feel that sense of liberation that's happening also. Okay, so with that sextile to Uranus, like that's that liberating experience that could be happening at this time. All right, so then you have Lilith entering into Leo, and that happens in your third house. So Lilith entering into your third house is going to make you come into this sense of power and facing yourself and being more confident in your ability when it comes to your immediate environment, the power that you have within your community, the status and the influence that you have in that regards, and just kind of like taking that in and being more, what is the word, confident in that space. If you are a small business owner, this could be you just being more confident in your small business, more confident in the things that the things that you have learned, and then expressing that, in a creative way, right? Because it's in Leo. So Leo is about your creative self-expression and just being who it is that you are in an authentic space. Also, this could have some things going on with you and your siblings as well. So this might indicate that there might be some mischievous energy going on with you and your siblings, or even within your immediate environment, or even your vehicle. There might be some changes and some things that are going on with that. Okay. Now, Mars is going to station direct in your first house. So with Mars going through your first house, you could have really been reviewing the energy that you have physically been exerting, right? So putting out too much physical energy, doing at the absolute most, feeling burnout over this time, really needing to focus on your body. Maybe you've been looking to work out and you've been coming up with these ideas on how to get back into being more active physically, right? And so now that you have an idea, you have a plan that this is something that you can move forward with, especially with Mars ruling your 11th house, which is Aries, and it rules your 6th house, which is Scorpio. That has a lot to do with your daily habits, your routines, your work, the work that you do, the services that you provide to other people. It's also your health. And then the 11th house is your goals. It's your vision for life. It's also your friends and networking circles. It's large organizations. So maybe you were looking to initiate like a large organization or to start a new line of work. And this is a time where over the retrograde period, it came back up for review. And now after it moves forward, this is like, now you're going to start a new job, new work, or you're starting this new health goal, or you starting this new, plan, to get your body back in a certain type of shape or however. Okay. So there you have it. And for Cancer, sun, moon, and rising, the full moon is happening in your first house, right? So the moon is your chart ruler, right? So is one of the only two luminaries that we have in our solar system. It's the sun and moon. They're the only luminaries. And so you are ruled by the second luminary in our chart, which is the moon. So Cancer, this is in your first house. So there's like this moment of releasing, like you have grown over the last 6 months, being able to recognize your growth. The moon rules your first house, right? It rules your chart. So recognizing your growth, recognizing the fullness of yourself, right? How far you have actually come. being more secure in who it is that you are, recognizing those insecurities that you have and how they have shown up. And also now that you have that, now that you can recognize that you have an understanding on how to actually work on rebuilding that, that sense of security, so those insecurities won't be as effective as they have been. Okay. So then you have Lilith entering into Leo in your second house. So there's going to be you coming into this sense of power to make money for yourself. There's different ideas and different things that have been going on, when it comes to money and relationships and your possessions and the things that bring you pleasure. So with Lilith moving into your second house, for one, this could really increase your intimacy when it comes to partnerships, but also bring you more confidence in how you make money for yourself. And also you might be receiving certain types of gifts and things and grand gestures from people, because Leo is very grandiose in its approach. So you might be receiving grand gestures of gifts and things like that while Lilith is in Leo. Okay. And then Mars is stationing direct at 8 degrees Gemini, and this happens in your 12th house. So you've been really separating yourself from those negative, like self-talk and the subconscious patterns that hold you back, just overexertion in those things. Also, you probably have been having issues with sleeping, not being able to sleep well. For some of us, there has been, or some of you Cancer rising people, there have been like really intense bed pleasure type situations that are going on, because Mars not only rules your 12th house of bed pleasures, but it also rules Scorpio, which is your 5th house of romance, and it also rules sex. So and you could have been really embarking on like romantic and sexual encounters. It could be like some sexual healing things going on, but also you've been just separating from any line of work or anything that does not align to your creative self-expression. On an internal level, it's been like mental things, because it's in your 12th house, so it's in the house of your subconscious. So separating your subconscious from anything that will hold you back and pursuing the direction that you want to go in. Mars also rules your 10th house, which is Aries, right? And so we have Chiron there in your 10th house, and just feeling really wounded on the public front, or trying to eliminate that wounded perception or that wounded persona, separating yourself from that school of thought, I guess you can say. So, you can kind of see yourself on a mental level, like, okay, I'm doing a lot publicly, like I'm, working, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, whatever it is that you're doing, and then needing to have a better understanding on the energy that you've been putting into these things, and that it's really just paying attention that it's been mental more than actual physical energy you've been putting into things. And there's been a lot of overthinking and overanalyzing. So with Mars moving direct, you'll be able to start sleeping better, and whatnot, but also at the same time, it's going to move into Cancer. So then you're going to be focused on your physical body, which still might make you tired. So definitely you're going to be having better rest now that it's moving forward, but you're going to be paying attention on a mental level, all the energy you've been putting into eliminating certain things, so that way you can heal, letting go of subconscious patterns that are hindrances to your growth, right? Okay, so Leo, sun, moon, and rising. Full moon in Cancer, that happens in your 12th house. So with this full moon culminating in your 12th house, is a very spiritual situation. Pay attention to your dreams and the synchronicities that happen, around the 4th and about the 8th of this month, that time span. Pay attention, because you could be receiving messages and things of that nature. So with this full moon, you're coming to like this phase, this ending of a cycle where you're releasing sabotaging behaviors. There's like the ending of a health situation. There's a lot of healing going on. The moon is the ruler of your 12th house. So, it has a lot to do. And Lilith is currently there in Cancer, right? So at the time of this moon. So there's like a lot of possibly like rebellious energy on a spiritual level. And with this full moon, you could be coming to an understanding about, intimacy and things like that. When it comes to like being secure, and your insecurities could be coming to full illumination, right? So the moon shines its light on the things that are in the shadow. And so it gets the sun from Capricorn, right? When it's a Cancer moon, we get the sun from Capricorn. So that Capricorn sun is shining its light onto that Cancer moon. And so think about the Capricorn. It's about restrictions and feeling, kind of oppressed and not being able to connect on an emotional level, right? So that's being illuminated to this Cancer moon. And with that sextile to Uranus, there's like a sense of liberation that's happening, right? So um, the sextile is happening to Uranus in your 10th house, right, which is Taurus. So with that illumination and that sextile, like you're feeling more free to be yourself. You're feeling like, okay, you're breaking some type of chain that has been holding you back. Because we've been forced to make changes, right? That's what I was speaking about previously. We've been forced to make these changes, and those changes haven't always felt good, right? So now with this full moon, it's kind of like this I am free to be me. I have an understanding of my insecurities on a subconscious level, and on a creative front, right? Because 12th house also is about creativity. You could be working on releasing something or launching something or doing a new line of work that is creative and or spiritual, because the 12th house is both. Okay. Then we have Lilith entering into Leo in your first house. So it's going to be moving into your first house. So I'm interested in how this is going to show up for a lot of you all. So you might be seen as very rebellious and very seductive and mischievous, but then also, on another end, that's just not necessarily the case, right? That's just how people are receiving your energy, because you're rebelling against certain things that have been holding you back. You're facing the truth about yourself. You are embracing your own power and your own goddess type of energy. Okay. Now, moving forward, we have Mars stationing direct, right? And so this is in your 11th house. It's been retrograding in your 11th house since October. And so you've been really paying attention to the energy you've been putting into your friendships, to your, large groups of, individuals, maybe like, networking or a group or organization you affiliate with, or if you have like a membership or something like that, but also just the energy that you've been putting into achieving your goals and your vision for life. And your legacy, creating your legacy. And, there might have been like a sense of burnout. It has a lot to do with your beliefs and your sense of security in what it is that you're doing, because Mars rules your 9th house and it rules your 4th house. Now, Mars ruling your 9th house is your beliefs, it's a long distance journey. So you may have been also planning on moving or going on a trip to visit a friend. And so now you're going to be able to move forward in doing so, right? And putting this plan into action. Also, you probably have been recognizing how you've been putting so much energy into learning things in order to achieve a goal, and saying, I really don't need to do that anymore. Like, I'm confident in myself, right? I'm secure in all the things that I know, right? That 4th house energy with Mars ruling Scorpio. So these are things that you're going to be implementing and moving forward as Mars stations to move direct. Okay. Now, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising, the full moon in Cancer is happening in your 11th house. So there's this culmination of your goals. Like, you're recognizing what goals you have achieved. You're recognizing that the ending of you probably being secluded or not around your friends, that's coming to an end. You're going to start, getting out more, connecting with large groups and large organizations and people. You could also find yourself starting like a group, like a support group or a group to help others. So this is something that might, manifest for you with this full moon. It's also about a releasing, right? So you're recognizing what goals you have achieved, how far you have come from the seeds that you planted back during the summer. And so with that, and, and the moon ruling your 11th house, also, it's like, you're just recognizing that you're here. You made it to a certain level, and now you have to continue on that path, right? Continue on creating and doing what it is that you desire to do to achieve your goals. Also, it has a lot to do with your friendships and networking circles. So you might find yourself getting to a point of networking and connecting more after this full moon period. Okay. And then Lilith is entering into your 12th house in Leo. And so, on a subconscious level, you're going to be rebelling against certain things, certain school of thoughts, right? Certain things that just are on default. They're just on, like, basically like replay in your mind, without you even recognizing that these are thoughts and these are things that are there. You're just going to be recognizing them now and rebelling against them. Also, coming into your own spiritual power, recognizing the power that you have. So this might be a very spiritual time for you on an intellectual, but also psychic level. to where, you know, you start receiving visions and you start receiving, you know, insight that you aren't aware that, you know, or you don't know how you're receiving it, right? This might be that. Also pay attention to your dreams, right? Lilith being in your 12th house, you know, could bring some really intense dreams, but also 12th house is the house of bed pleasures. So it might be some really intense sexual encounters that you could be having with others, or your partner, and things of that nature. And so it could be like the sexual liberation that's happening as well. Okay. And then we have Mars stationing direct in Gemini at 8 degrees. And this is in your 10th house. So this is the house of your career, your public image, your public persona, your social status, and your responsibilities to the world. So you've been really reviewing, putting in a lot of work in the background when it comes to your work and routines and things of that nature. And so you've been having like these ideas and you've been trying to put these plans in place. And so now that Mars is moving forward, you can actually initiate and launch some things. So Mars is going to be moving through the sign of Gemini until March 25th. So, you know, you'll be out of its shadow period in a couple of weeks. And so then you can actually start launching things, and doing what it is that you need to do. Mars is the ruler of your 8th house, which is about resources and other people and money that you make from other people. It also is your partner's money. So this also could indicate that, you know, there's been like a holdup on your partner working or your partner's finances. So now your partner might actually get a job and their money might increase, or they might initiate something, or you're recognizing, or your maybe even your partner recognize like, and I've been putting too much energy into this thing. I need to stop. And so that could be something also. I need to stop putting my energy into this. And so there's a change in the finances that you get from your partner. It could be an increase or a decrease, however. But with it being in your 10th house, it also definitely has a lot to do with who it is that you are on a public front in your career and your legacy and what you're creating and what you're building, right? The 10th house typically is the highest part of the chart. So everyone sees this part, right? So right now they're seeing you as very ambitious, very goal oriented. You might also be coming off a little scattered, but you know, that's fine too. Mars rules your 3rd house. So it's like small business. It could be schooling, right? So you could be initiating going back to school at this time or picking up a certification. And this is something that you could have been thinking about. And now you're implementing it and putting it into action. All right. So for Libra, sun, moon, and rising, this full moon happens in your 10th house. So full illumination when it comes to your career, public image, and social status, your responsibilities to the world, all those 10th house things. And so you could be really seen, you know, on a public front, like coming to an end, wrapping up a cycle. There also might be like a change when it comes to your job or your career path that you have been embarking on, especially with the full moon ruling Cancer in your 10th house. There could be like this ending of a job, like you're releasing a job, or you are receiving a raise, or you're ending one cycle of work to embark on a new cycle of work. And these are all seeds that you've planted back in the summer, right? So 6 months ago during Cancer season. Okay. So then Lilith enters into Leo in your 11th house. So just really ambitious and taking into the power to, you know, achieve your goals. It's also about your material gains and just things that you can acquire, right, in time and in life. Also friendship. So there might be some things that come up, you know, rebellious type issues or things that come up with your friends, maybe even networking circles or large organizations that you affiliate with. There might be some things that come up, but also just standing into your own power when it comes to that, and understanding your influence when it comes to the vast amount of people that you can actually influence. Okay, so also we have Mars stationing direct in your 9th house. So Mars has been in your 9th house and it's been showing you on a spiritual level, but also on a conscious level, the energy that you've been putting in. So you may have been reviewing like studies and education and things like of that nature that, you know, you've been putting your energy into. And so now, you know, while it's retrograde, it's like, okay, I've been putting too much energy into this, I've been putting too much energy into that. Also, you could have been looking to plan a trip, and so now you can actually implement that and put that trip into place, right? Mars is the ruler of your 7th house. It's about your commitments, it's about contracts, it's about other people, it's also about open enemies, and also it's the ruler of your 2nd house, which is about your money, your possessions, and things of that nature. So maybe there has been like a holdup on like a legal situation or a court situation, especially with the ninth house energy being there. Now there's going to be some forward movement in that when it's regarding maybe a financial situation or some type of commitment situation. There might be like a divorce or a separation, or maybe you are even initiating getting married and you hadn't had the opportunity to get your marriage certificate or anything like that. So that also could be something that's like as an example. But with Mars moving forward, the energy that you've been putting in could have been holding you back, because it's giving you burnout, but more so on a conscious level, right? So your beliefs is also something that you could have been studying, like you could have been, going down certain path, belief path, or studying or learning new belief systems and recognizing, that you're putting too much energy into it. Also, maybe you are coming to the end of a like uh a traveling sabbatical, right? So that also could be something that's manifested at this time. All right, so Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. The full moon in Cancer is in your ninth house. So coming to a full culmination about your beliefs. This is about spirituality. This is about mentorships as well. This is long distance journey. So maybe there has been a moment of where you haven't been able to travel. And so you've been planting seeds so that way you can now travel, or you could be coming up on the ending of a cycle of higher education. So like, just say for instance, you finish 1 year of school, now you're embarking on your final year of school, and this is like ending of that cycle, now you're embarking on the final cycle of that. Also, this could have a lot to do with you just coming to your own sense of security in your beliefs and in how you express yourself on that level, right? And being more confident and more secure in yourself when it comes to your belief systems and whatnot. Okay. And then Lilith enters into Leo in your 10th house. So rebelling against career, certain, things, doing things in a different way, but also embracing your power and facing yourself in a career sector on a public front. So people are going to see you in this position of power. Seeing that you're taking on this powerful role, or you're really confident in what it is that you're doing on a career front. So it could be that you're getting a new job, or you could be, starting a new business, and people are recognizing, that power and that confidence that you are really embracing at this time. Okay. And then Mars is stationing direct. All right. So Mars moves forward into your 8th house. And so you've been recognizing that, the money that you've been putting in, or the finances that you've been putting in, to your partner, or the investments that you've been putting into, your partner, your intimate relationships, or, you've been working on eliminating debt, and you've been trying to create a plan on eliminating that debt. And so with Mars moving forward in your 8th house, you can actually implement those plans that you've been creating. Also, there may have been like a holdup on your partner making money, or resources from your partner, like work, right? Because Mars rules 6th house, which is work and routines, daily habits and things like that. And also it's the 1st house, so it rules your 1st house, which is Scorpio. So it could be something that you are initiating, where you're initiating a new line of work to where you're bringing in more resources, or also your partner is making more money, or starting a new line of work that's bringing in more financial resources. Also, this could indicate intense passion and pleasure when it comes to intimacy with your partner, if you're in a relationship, or you could be finding yourself separating at this time, right? If this is something that you were looking to do, you could be separating from something, because Mars does create separation. So keep that in mind as well. All right. So Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising. We have the full moon in Cancer in your 8th house. So with this full moon, coming to this culmination in your 8th house. The 8th house is the house that rules secrets and karma and debt and intimacy and resources that you get from other people. So you could be getting a raise at this time. There could be like this major payout from work that you've been putting in, right? The moon rules that. Also could be that you're coming to a new phase in an intimate relationship. Just say, for instance, you were dating and now you are an actual item, right? You're together, like you're, in a committed relationship. So that might be something, right? With this full moon, the seeds that you planted, 6 months ago. So this might be something that comes up. And then we have Lilith entering into your 9th house in Leo. And so with Lilith moving into your 9th house, it's like learning new ways or new things about your belief systems, rebelling against it, but also taking into account that you are embracing your own sense of power in your own beliefs, right? Also, there might be an opportunity for you to do some traveling, but there might be some mischievous things going on within that, like maybe with the travel or the actual flight, stuff like that. But, over the next, couple of months until October, Lilith will be in your ninth house. So you will be really on a rebellious kick when it comes to certain beliefs. It could be about spirituality. It could be about religion. Also, it could be that you're taking into account like your own sense of power when it comes to you being a spiritual teacher, a guru, a mentor. So you might find yourself into this role or entering into this role as well. All right. So Mars is going to station direct in your seventh house. So this is the house of relationships and partnerships, commitments, and marriage. And so this is also the house that rules open enemies, right? So this could be that you're separating from open enemies. You're recognizing that this is being exposed. You've been recognizing the energy you've been putting into your commitments or into other people and not so much yourself or into your own pursuits. Mars rules your fifth house of your creative self-expression. And also it's the house of romance. So, with Mars ruling your fifth house, it also rules your 12th house, which is about bed pleasures and intimacy and unconditional love. This might be where you're literally entering into a relationship, like maybe during the retrograde phase, you've been like reviewing this relationship, putting in a little energy, into the relationship. And now you can move forward into actually embracing this connection where you're in a committed relationship. Okay. Now, Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising, the full moon is happening in your seventh house, right? So it's opposite your first house. And so with this full moon in your seventh house, this could be you coming to the culmination of a relationship. Like it could be ending, or this could be that you're wrapping up a certain cycle or a certain phase of a relationship. It could be a marriage. You could also be getting engaged at this time. Also, what this says is that you could have been putting in certain type of commitments as well. This could be the exposure of some type of open enemy or something like that, because the seventh house rules that. And so commitments and marriage and partnerships and, all those different things, maybe even legal situations could be coming to a close during this time. It's from seeds that you planted over the last 6 months. And so if it's not a relationship, it's about a commitment. And we can be committed to different things, not just people, but we could be committed to work or to a certain project or however. So that is something to consider, that this is like a releasing or a culmination of that energy. And then you have Lilith entering into Leo in your eighth house. So Lilith moves into your eighth house. It's been in your seventh house. So it's moving into your eighth house. And with it going into your eighth house, you're embracing this power of how you make money, right? Or your resources that you get from other people. It could be that there's some things going on when it comes to the resources that you currently have or how you receive money outside of yourself. So it could be from work, or it could be from joint finances or things of that nature. Also, there could be some secrets that come out about you during this time that you're not necessarily, privy to, or you don't want to come out, or, you're just perfectly fine. You could be you could be more transparent, right? So Leo is about creative self-expression. This also could indicate that you're going down like this path of healing, right? So the eighth house is our psyche, is psychological things. So also maybe therapy could be something that could be exposing certain things about traumas and past life things and family, generational traumas, and you're working on healing that. Okay. Now, Mars is stationing direct at 8 degrees Gemini in your sixth house. So Mars has been retrograde since October in your sixth house. So now that it's moving forward, right? So during that retrograde period, there was like a review of your energy and your focus and your motivations and things of that nature. You may have not been feeling really inspired to physically do anything or really act on, many things, or not even just feeling inspired, right? So and being presented with many opportunities and not sure which ones to act on. And so when it comes to Mars being in your sixth house, there could have been like a review of a health situation. And so now you're going to get more insight, and you can actually start moving forward with the plan that you've been setting in place about your health or about your daily routines. Also, with Mars being in your sixth house, it says that you have had a lot to do in your daily routines. Like your schedule is busy, you have a lot going on. Whether it's work, there could be a lot of, traveling or anything. So there could be work goals that you are really working towards achieving. Mars ruling your 11th house, which is Scorpio. It also rules your 4th house, which is home and family. So you also could be looking to move, buying new real estate, things of that nature, getting another home. With that sixth house energy, it's about your daily commute, not commute, your daily habits and routines, and also your work, the people that you work with. And then the 11th house energy is about your goals. It's also material gains, right? So it's things that you own, things that you gain over time in life. It's about your legacy. And so this also could indicate that you're going to be having more time maybe with influential women in your life, or maybe having to do motherly duties on a daily consistent basis, right? With Mars ruling your fourth house. Maybe even connecting with your friends, working with friends, developing a friendship. There could be some things going on, when it comes to working your employees as well. So that is also a high possibility. Okay. So Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, the full moon in Cancer happens in your sixth house. So this is the house of work and your daily routines, also your health, and things of that nature. So it's like services that you provide to other people as well. And so this could be a culmination or an ending or a release of something in a work environment. So you could be getting a raise. You could be starting a new job. You may have been searching all this time for the last 6 months. And so now you're starting a new job, or you're being released from a job, or you're quitting, or you're embarking on something new. But this is about your daily habits also shifting and changing as well. Okay. And so then we have Lilith entering into Leo, and this is in your seventh house. So with Lilith in your seventh house, this is you embracing your power when it comes to other people, your commitments to others, as well, whether it's, other people or just other situations or projects and things of that nature, being more expressive, being more bold, being more confident when it comes to relationships and commitments as well. All right. So Mars is stationing direct in Gemini in your fifth house. So reviewing how much energy you put into your creative projects, into your romantic connections and situations, maybe even your children. That also might be a high possibility. And then now that it's moving forward, you can kind of say, okay, I've eliminated this, I've eliminated that. This is what I have time and energy for. And that's going to be your focus, right? And so Mars rules your third house. So it could be small business, it could be communication, it could be travel, it could be commute. It also rules your 10th house, which is Scorpio. So it could be work and public image type of thing. So you might be like a small business that you've been putting a lot of energy and focus into a creative project, maybe behind the scenes, and now you're getting ready to launch it and move forward with it. And you're recognizing what deserves your attention, what needs your motivation, how you're going to function and work within this thing that you're creating, this creative project, this new baby that you're having, right? And now you're implementing it and you're launching it out. All right. So last but not least, Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. We have that full moon in Cancer that happens in your fifth house. And so with the full moon being in your fifth house, it's the culmination of that inner child, right? So it's about the confidence of yourself. It's about being courageous and being expressive with who it is that you are. Also, maybe you're also like coming to this culmination of a creative project or something like this new baby that you've been having, right? So also a lot of you could be giving birth at this time, or, really working on your expression and being more confident in saying how you feel and what you desire and what you want and who you are. Especially fifth house is your vitality, is, your creative self-expression, is your soul expression. And just really being able to be expressive in that way. And then Lilith moving into Leo, right? So Lilith is moving into Leo, which is your sixth house. So taking power into your health, right? There might be some things that come up with your health during this time that kind of bring things to the light, to the surface, but also just kind of taking power in your daily habits and your daily routine. So you might be picking up on exercising more, doing yoga or walking or eating differently, but just taking that power into your own hands and just embracing and being, facing the truth of yourself when it comes to your daily habits. Also, this might indicate that you're taking on a power role, or a new role of power in the work that you do, with sixth house ruling, your work and routine. So this also can indicate that as well. All right. So Mars is stationing direct in Gemini, and this is in your fourth house. And so with Mars moving forward, we're able to implement those things that we've been reviewing about how much energy and time and focus, inspiration and motivation we've been putting into things. And so with it being in your fourth house, has a lot to do with your home and family, just being more assertive in your home, being more intentional in your home. This might be you separating from a certain home. Maybe you have been waiting on your house to be built, and so you've been living with like a sibling, and now you're moving, right? Moving, with your sibling, moving from your sibling into your own home. So you could be separating from a home. Also, this could be initiating something new with influential women in your life, or just being more assertive and more courageous and confident in who it is that you are, and the different opportunities that are coming to you, using your influence to help you make money for yourself and also just kind of like express your beliefs. This also might be a time where you're initiating like a move. You might be moving, or you might be going on a travel trip, or just investing in that, like, putting money into it. You also could be receiving more money in the home, or investing in the home from like school or higher education or things of that nature, because Mars rules your second house and your ninth house. Okay. So that is all that I have for January 2023. I hope that this has been beneficial and helpful for you all. I look forward to connecting with you for the rest of this year. Happy New Year. And for all of you Aquarius, you're going to be having your solar return. So happy solar return. But I will say that, at the second galactic gossip that comes out around the 15th or so of this month. All right. So, quick reminder, make sure you like, share, follow, leave a comment, all those things. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you won't miss a beat. Because not only do I do these twice a month now, but I also like post on some of the other transits that I didn't mention in Galactic Gossip. So if you don't want to miss any of those things, go ahead and follow me, follow me, follow me. Don't forget that readings are now done. They're closed indefinitely. I will be making announcements when I have, time to actually do readings and when I have time to open them back up. But as of right now, they're all closed. Book your Reiki sessions, because Reiki, the Reiki books are open. At the end of the month, they will be going, there will be an offering for a subscription-based package for Reiki. And yeah, I think that's it. Oh, join the Celestial City. Yep, if you want more readings and more connection with the astrology community. And that is all that I have. I will talk to y'all soon. Have a wonderful month ahead.